right, welcome back into the channel and welcome in for another video. Today we have some massive breaking news as the Philadelphia Eagles have made a trade to acquire wide receiver Jahan Dotson from the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it. Now, this is going to be one of those rare in-division trades where the Washington Commanders are sending the Philadelphia Eagles Jahan Dotson and a 5th round pick in exchange for a 2025 3rd round pick and 2 7th round picks. And I'm going to address this off the top. A lot of people are saying the Eagles overpaid with a 3rd round pick. I think two important things that people are forgetting here is one, that the Eagles did get a 5th round pick back in this deal, which is, in my opinion, a lot more valuable than 7th round picks. As well, the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2025 draft had 2 3rd round picks. They have their own and Miami's. So now they move their own to Washington, but they still hold a 1st round pick, a 2nd round pick, and a 3rd round pick in the 2025 draft. And this is a drum that I've been beating all offseason. You guys have seen the videos about going and getting Hunter Renfrow or going and getting a Noah Brown. I didn't think Jahan Dotson was on the board, but this is a very solid move from Howie to bring in a wide receiver 3. Jahan Dotson is a perfectly fine 5th or 6th option in this offense. You have to remember A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts running the ball himself, if you want to put that as a 5th option over Jahan Dotson. So it's not like this team is going to be asking for as much out of Jahan Dotson as the Washington Commanders did. But what Dotson brings to the game is very nice for Philly. So far in Washington, if you look at the numbers, Dotson's career hasn't exactly been exciting, right? In 12 games played in 2022, the guy had 35 catches for 523 yards and 7 touchdowns, which in reality in 12 games isn't all that bad. But in 2023, he certainly had a down year. Played all 17 games and finished with just 49 catches, 518 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But remember, that Washington entire team was inept and bad. They literally shifted 66% of their roster this offseason and brought in a whole new coaching staff. So I don't know if it's fair to judge Jahan Dotson solely on last season from a production standpoint. I think at this trade, you have to take a deeper look into the kind of player that Jahan Dotson is. Is he, this big body wide receiver? No, he's 5'11" out of Penn State, but he does have some speed to him. And I actually think he's an underrated route runner. Coming out of Penn State, this guy's NFL comp was Tyler Lockett, a very good route runner who finds the open space. And I went back and dug even a little deeper. I went and looked at some of Jahan Dotson's old reception perceptions. And when you take a look at this, what are his best routes? Obviously, the screen route he runs at 100%, but comebacks and curl routes. In this Kellen Moore offense, he likes to run those kind of routes. He likes to stop the defenders on a dime, come back, and get the ball to his playmakers so they can make plays. Everybody knows that, but Jahan Dotson is excellent in that aspect. He's going to be good there. He's a guy that they can use in these bubble screens. He is the team's new wide receiver 3, and they desperately needed one. I am a huge fan of this move for the Philadelphia Eagles. I get it. The draft capital was a little steep, but this offense needed wide receiver depth. I was banging the table on that for weeks now, and they go out and make a move, not just for a guy who is going to be there this season, but a guy who could be a permanent mainstay as the wide receiver 3 for this team, and a guy whose talent I think has been underutilized in Washington to open his career. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that Jahan Dotson is going to be this consistent 1,000-yard receiver, double-digit touchdown guy. I'm not sitting here overly excited because I think that that is where we're headed. But I think Jahan Dotson in Philly could certainly be 750 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 60 catches a year out of your wide receiver 3 and your 5th option on offense. That is something I'll take. And this is a guy who can make explosive plays and at least has somewhat of a ceiling. If you were to go out there and get a Hunter Renfrow or a Noah Brown or a Robert Woods from the Texans, those guys have kind of already peaked and you know what their ceiling is. With Jahan Dotson, if he were to hit, this offense quickly becomes perhaps the best in the NFL. Now, again, I'm not sitting here telling you that the progression is on the way. He's certainly going to hit, But this is a guy who is entering his third year in the NFL. His first year was a little injury plagued, and last year he was on a disaster of a team in Washington who got the #2 overall pick and just flipped everything upside down on its head. Jahan Dotson hasn't really had a stable season yet in the NFL. He now goes to Philly, a new offensive coordinator in town who clearly wanted him on the team. The best quarterback he's had in his career by far. A role where he's not going to be seeing the cornerback 2 matched up against him. He probably won't even be the focus of the defense on any given play. This is what you give a guy when you want to see him succeed. Remember what Jahan Dotson was when he came into the NFL. He is still young enough that I think reflecting back on his draft profile and the hype that people had for this man is worth taking a look into. I'm not telling you, again, he's going to come out and be a wide receiver 1 or 2 in this league. And he's certainly not going to be that on this team. But he could be one of the better wide receiver 3s in all of football. And I do mean that. But those are just my immediate reactions to the Philadelphia Eagles acquiring wide receiver Jahan Dotson. Is a 3rd round pick steep? Yes. But again, Philly had 2 at their disposal. They're down to 1, and they brought back a 5th. If Howie wants to trade up, he showed you with the Cooper DeJean deal with Washington, he is willing to trade up. Worry about the 2025 draft at the 2025 draft. Jahan Dotson to this team makes me more confident in them as a Super Bowl contender. I get it, it's Jahan Dotson, but once you're at that high contender level, every little move does matter. I will catch you guys next time for another video. Drop your thoughts on this trade in the comment section. I'll catch you later. Peace.